So right here, this is a store at the Marriott, closed. They've just got it all, windows all papered over. Here's another one right next door, completely empty, gone. Here's another one right here. They're just papering over the windows, and that's locked up. So it is an absolutely stunning Monday, August 23rd, 2021. I'm here at the Marriott, JW Marriott, in Palm Desert, California with my good friend Joe. And many of you probably don't remember Joe, but he was on the show probably 3 or 4 years ago, a couple times when I had maybe a couple thousand subs. But he is back today, and it's an honor.
Hey, good to be back.
And Joe wanted to come out today, talk about a few things. And I'm hopefully going to have him on a more regular basis, because Joe it just has so much knowledge and works in the retail sector, in the food industry, and so he's a wealth of information, well-versed, well-read. So we're going to talk about a few things today, one of them being this. As soon as we walked into this beautiful resort, I filmed here many times, we noticed 3 or 4 vacant stores gone, and other stores that seemed open but were closed, Joe.
Yeah, couldn't even open the doors. They were locked, saying they were open for business. Monday, what is it, noon?
Yeah. And what about, we don't see a lot of staff here.
Not very much at all. It's minimal staff, and yeah, it looks like minimal occupancy as well.
So not a lot of people here. It is a Monday, so I do understand it's the first day of the week, and these places aren't always super busy on a Monday or Tuesday, but the staff it's a ghost town. Nobody's working here, and the stores that appear to be open, doors are locked, and there are multiple vacancies here now with regards to the retail. But as we're here today, gold's up $23, silver's up 50 cents, Bitcoin's up, and all this is a telltale sign that people aren't believing what they're hearing. They believe, in my opinion, that the Fed is not going to taper, that the games are going to continue.
I think more and more people are going to continue to try and find their way out of the dollar, whether it being crypto or physical precious metals. That's pretty much the way to go. So yeah, you got to make money and then make your money work for you. So
now, we talked about what you're seeing at your work, and you've been at your place of work for 16 years.
Yes, sir.
And you're noticing people making some cuts. They're not buying maybe the most expensive foods now. They're cutting out the steaks for chicken, hamburger,
yeah,
which is
chicken, thigh meat, ground beef, stuff like that. Everything is just continually rising, and people don't want to pay the price for all that nowadays.
What would the price of filet mignon from a year ago to today go?
Oh man, I think it's already raised, maybe like $4. I think it was like $19.99 maybe a year ago.
That's 20%.
Yeah.
So steak prices up 20% where he works. And most of you know, I mean, you go to a fast food joint, you go to a restaurant, and it's easily 20%. And I'm shocked that it's only 20% where you were from a year ago, but that's very substantial. So we see food prices going up. We see a place like this today, a ghost town. We see literally a ghost staff here. Nobody's here. And you and I both also were talking earlier about homes in the area out here, how we're seeing so many more cars parked in the driveways, where family members are now having to move back in together.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a lot of like nice looking cars and some beat up houses, so it looks like they're extended families that are just congregating together into one location to save money and try to keep each other afloat, and that a lot of the landlords are going to end up in the same situation that the renters are in. They're going to be renters themselves or out in the streets because they just can't continue to survive with the political situation going on.
So that's a really good point. Renters and landlords will be on the street both. The landlords had no control of it. The renters did, because they were making a lot of money on unemployment, getting the benefit checks, the stimulus, where the landlord didn't really have the benefit of any help from the government, and they're going to be right there with the renter.
Yeah, and then you got them actually helping BlackRock and Blackstone come in and swoop up all the properties that are going out, and then they're going to charge, both the landlords and the renters that want to have those places even more. And I think it was Thomas Jefferson that said that, if we allow a private central bank to take over, that the private central bank, along with the corporations that grow up around them, will leave the Americans homeless on the very land their forefathers conquered. So that's where we're headed.
And when you speak of homeless, Joe, you watch the past videos, and you can just drive around in our area here. You see a homeless crisis.
Oh, yeah.
The situation's not getting better; it's getting worse. And if you don't believe that, just go to some of my LA videos, go to my Long Beach videos, and take a look at the crisis that we have here in California. And many of you have written from other states saying that, hey, we got a homeless crisis here too. We're seeing homeless people where we never ever saw a homeless person ever before, and now we're seeing it. But Joe, I want to be a little more specific. The housing bubble, as far as people buying and selling homes, the astronomical home prices now, and the amount of money that has gone into the housing market. We saw the massive bubble burst here in 2008, and prices crashed 50%. How far are we from seeing a housing crash here?
I'd say it could be any time. I don't like putting a time limit on something. Things actually have gone slower than I even anticipated.
Yeah.
Much to have the people that do have right now become have-nots, and their terminology is that we will own nothing and we will like it. So
this bubble will burst.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people are going to get hurt.
Oh yeah. I say buy low, sell high.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I don't know why anybody would buy in a bubble, but they're buying into the stock market bubbles. They're buying into crypto bubbles. They're buying into real estate bubbles. I mean, literally, I've never seen so many bubbles in one time in my life than we are right now.
Yeah, I say whatever you do, as long as you make the money and then you actually turn that money into a precious metal and you keep that for your savings, wherever you keep it, that's probably the best long-term strategy for yourself and others. So.
Hard assets.
Oh yeah.
So right here today, and a skill set, back to the housing market, we're beginning to see inventory tick up, and the buying now, according to this article in Zero Hedge, is at the $1 million and up bracket. When we're looking at $250,000, home sales plunged 30% year over year. When we look at home sales from 250 grand or lower, home sales over $1 million surged almost 60% year over year. So where is all this going, Joe?
This right here is going towards hyperinflation, and my fear is that once we actually adjust to the hyperinflation, they'll hit us with a deflationary situation. And so you got to have that skill set and have people around you that are able to survive in any of those situations.
Skill set, be your own asset, know how to do something. And give us a couple examples.
Gardening, maybe building your own weapons. If you learn how to become maybe a butcher or
mechanic.
Yeah, mechanic. Just things that people are gonna need when everything just collapses. Try to build a community around yourself of people that are like-minded, and don't waste too much time on those that don't agree with you. There's no point in fighting too much with them.
That's a great point, Joe. I've been very, very disappointed with a lot of people that I personally know and their thinking. And with all the evidence out here now of what's happening with this economy, and personal friends of mine who have lost so much in this economy still believe that the economy is doing well. The same people who've lost everything, the same people who are dependent on a government check, believe everything is okay.
Well, yeah, the economy is a complete facade, just like some of the stores we've seen here. They're completely shut down with paintings of umbrellas and stuff. So, yeah.
And some of the windows have clothes in them or sunglasses, but they're not open.
That's all it is. It's just a complete facade. I mean, just to make you feel good while everything's collapsing around you. I think they said, give them bread and circuses and they'll be fine. So.
U.S. PMI dropped from 63.4 to 61.2. Where is manufacturing in America, Joe?
Manufacturing in America is currently in China. So I think we need to stop looking up to our politicians like if they're our slave owners and start standing back up towards them and letting them know that we're the kings and they're the servants, and that we're going to go ahead and open our shops. We're tired of all these mandates and all of these green policies that are just going to shut down our economy and make it harder and harder for Americans to survive.
And everything requires a license, a permit, and it's put such a limitation on new business and innovation, small business, because they literally price you out. I mean, if you just want to open up a hair salon, the amount of licensing that you're going to need, insurance that you're going to need, and so this isn't like the 1950s or even the 1980s where you had opportunity where a dollar actually bought you something and a skill actually bought you something. Now they're going to require insurances and licenses and permits to do the simplest things, and it's really hurt this country so immensely. Yet we sent millions of jobs over to other countries. We see the cargo ships lined up daily out here now so Americans can buy cheap products, and now Americans are beginning to realize that those once well-paying manufacturing jobs, how important they were.
Yeah, that's true. And then, people are trying to create their businesses and trying to pay their employees while, we have a private central bank that's creating money out of thin air and then taxing you on that money that they create for your labor. So it's pretty unconstitutional, in my opinion, to be taxed on your labor. It's an invisible form of slavery, and I think that needs to end.
And that's another great point. Now, the banks can go to the Fed window and borrow money for literally nothing, yet they're charging you 24% of your credit card.
Yeah, and then if you can't make that payment, then you have to deal with all of the late fees, and if you can't do that, you get into bankruptcy, and then they want to create like the social credit score like they do in China, like they have in China, and have all of that do to have something with your freedom and pretty much put limits on your freedom. So if you don't have these social credit, the social credit score that they want, you can't actually go to, say, a bank or maybe to school or to a concert, just like they're trying to do with all the current mandates.
So Joe, you bring up something that I want to ask you. A lot of people have written in, I've watched videos, I've read news on this, and it's regarding credit cards. Banks cutting people's credit limits in half or completely shutting off their credit cards 100%. Now, these are people with good credit, people that are employed, maybe people who aren't employed, maybe people who, haven't been making rent, a variety of people. But what's the reasoning behind the banks cutting off limits of credit or credit cards?
Well, I think the banks are just pretty much trying to watch their own backs and can kind of see the future and don't want to be skipped out on the loans that the people have actually acquired from the banks. At the same time, the banks are allowing the feds to come in and raid people's security boxes and taking their precious metals along with, who knows what else. And you got to basically go back and prove beyond a reasonable doubt that is yours to get it back, if you can get it back.
If you can get it back. Now, I believe another reason that they're cutting credit cards and lines of credit is because they know that as soon as these moratoriums end, the mortgage forbearance ends, the rent moratorium ends, that a lot of people are going to be trying to survive off of credit cards, and they're going to be running their credit cards up as they use them for essentials to survive. And I don't think the bank wants to eat it. But going back to safety deposit boxes, I've talked about this many times. Do not leave your gold, silver, cash, or any hard asset in a safety deposit box at any bank. Your thoughts?
Yeah, don't ever do that. If it's not in your pocket, it's not yours. So if you don't hold it, you don't own it, regardless of what it is. That's why I'm pretty cautious about the cryptocurrencies, although I do look forward to seeing my cryptocurrencies skyrocket and then cashing out for precious metals. There's never a guarantee on that. I mean, the little that I put in there could just be gone overnight, just with a little glitch in the system. So
I want to go back to this article on the hedge when we were talking about manufacturing PMI. U.S. services PMI went from 59.9 to 55.2, and this ties in to today's video when we came here to the Marriott, because one of the first things Joe said was, where's the staff? There's nobody here. So these service sector jobs in resorts like this, they're disappearing. And as a society now, these type of jobs in the service sector, many people now are dependent on these jobs as careers, whether it's fast food, working at the resort, working at the gym as a personal trainer, just any type of service sector job, cleaning rooms here, doing laundry, mowing the grass here, whatever. These service type jobs now have become career jobs, where these used to be jobs for high school kids, college kids, retirees. No longer. These are people that are working these jobs as full-time careers. And I think that's really dangerous, Joe, because I don't know how an economy supports itself when a vast majority of the jobs are in the service sector industry.
Yeah, well, manufacturing has actually been declining in this country, and that's pretty much why everybody is here becoming a servant to everybody else. So it really doesn't matter what you're doing now. There's servants that are serving servants.
We were also talking about people who are a little bit older now, getting ready to retire. You have a couple working with you. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I have a few working with me that saved cash for their retirement, but then realized that the cash is being devalued so much that they actually have to go back to work and get a job just to maintain their cost of living. And I don't think that's right at all. I think they should have been taught when they were younger via our educational system that they should have put away precious metals and stuff that would actually be valuable in the future instead of less valuable in the future.
Yeah, that's a great point. And as we walk along here, if you bought gold back in 2005, it was around $500. Today it's over $1,800. So that would have really helped out your retirement. But a lot of these people who are elderly or older, who cannot keep their money in the bank and earn literally 0%, are gambling in the stock market. And the scary thing is, when this market does blow up and implode, and it's going to, these people will be completely wiped out. And I know everybody will be like, well, it always comes back, it always comes back. Well, look, if you're 65, 70, 75 years old, you don't have time for it to come back. And there's no guarantee when it's gonna come back. And so that's a really scary thought, to think how many people are in jeopardy now and gambling in these markets because they need those yields. And if that market takes a dump tomorrow, these people are in enormous trouble, Joe.
Yeah, me personally, I like to buy low and sell high, and at the moment I'm looking into like junior mining stocks, physical and precious metals, silver, gold, uranium even. Yeah, I think that's going to be worth more money in the future.
And as Jim Rogers, I know you know Jim Rogers, says, buy what everybody else isn't buying, buy what people are ignoring, and buy what's on sale. And junior mining stocks are on sale.
Right, and then you buy them low, and then you sell them high. When everybody rushes in, that's the time to sell.
But Joe, here's the problem. Everybody wants to buy something today and sell it tomorrow and make a profit.
Now you gotta
right. I mean, that's the big attraction to cryptos, is I could buy something today and next week it could be up $5,000 and I'm going to make money. That's not really investing. That's what I would call gambling. Yeah. But regarding junior mining stocks, look, I think there's going to be a ton of money made in junior mining stocks. It's gambling though, ladies and gentlemen. So it's money you have to be willing to lose.
Yeah. I think you got to work for your money, then make your money work for you. And like I said earlier, whatever you do, any profit you make, bring it home and turn that into a physical asset for yourself and your family in the future. Because my main goal isn't necessarily to be rich or to be wealthy, so make sure that my kids are actually well off in the future once I'm gone. That's what I want to see happen. I don't want to know that everything that I worked for just got inflated to death and devalued away. So,
and that's another great point. And I think we've got to stop counting our money in dollars and start counting it in ounces, because this dollar is going to get eaten up by inflation. It is going to, unfortunately, I think, going to bear a very, very ugly ending at some point, unless it is backed by something like gold. But if it isn't, it's going to disappear like all the rest of the fiat currencies over the last hundreds and hundreds of years. That none of them have survived, and the dollar is not going to survive if we continue to do what we're doing. Where we're at right now is irreversible. We've done so much damage. We've printed so many trillions and trillions of dollars that it's irreversible. The damage has been done. Now, unless they back the dollar by gold, you can kiss the dollar goodbye. I think inflation is going to get worse, Joe. And again, everybody in the stock market and in cryptos, everybody in their 401ks, their money markets, are going to tell you how rich they are on a computer screen, or how rich they are on paper. But the reality is, if this whole thing implodes tomorrow, or the dollar implodes, all that's worthless. The only thing that will be worth anything are hard assets like gold and silver. And I'm not telling anybody to sell all their cryptos or sell all their stocks or get out of their 401k. What I am doing is telling you that you need to be holding something real to protect yourself, because that day is coming. It's not going to be avoided. And when it does, your pension could be wiped out. Your dollar could crash even more than the 97% it's already lost since we went off the gold standard.
Yeah, and then what do? You know, then you're back to square one, and
no, then you're broke.
Yeah,
and then you lose your house.
And then you have no skill set, and then
yeah.
So
how do you make your car payment, your credit card payment, your rent? You don't. You're done.
Yeah.
So as I'm hanging out with Joe today, I want to get his perspective on this. You know, a lot of people continue to write in going, I'm too poor, I can't buy any silver, I can't buy gold, I can't buy any emergency food, I'm broke, I'm poor, and I just cannot prepare. Joe, what do you say to that?
I say by any means necessary. You know, any paycheck you get, put away $30, buy an ounce of silver. You have an extra $100, you know, buy 3 ounces of silver. Ultimately, if you got money to be buying Starbucks or to have one of these latest iPhones, then maybe you should try to go without for a little while and accumulate some actual precious metals just to secure your future, or not necessarily to even be wealthy, but just to make sure you can maintain your...
Joe, how about maybe getting a side hustle? How about working another 10 or 20 or 30 hours a week?
That's actually a great idea. Then I've also seen other people too talking about like going to garage sales and then, you know, creating eBay accounts or selling, you know, items they find at garage sales for a profit on eBay or Facebook. And I think that's a great idea. Anything you can do to support yourself and your family and become self-sufficient and to get ahead. You know, the goal is to get ahead, because, you know, your health isn't guaranteed to you. So you want to be able to get ahead, so in case anything does happen, you're actually set and your family is set for a decent amount of time.
That's very good. Literally half this country now is a paycheck away from being in big trouble, a flat tire away from being in big trouble. And yet people make excuses. They hope that this is all going to go away, Joe, but they continue to make excuses. And I think excuses are going to guarantee big trouble for you. The people that don't make excuses, the people that are going out there hustling, working the extra hours, doing the garage sales, doing whatever they have to do to make a little extra cash to buy those assets, those people are going to be the winners here. The people that make excuses are going to be the losers.
Yeah. They gave us bread and gave us circuses just so we can be distracted from what's really going on. But not all of us are distracted. And
so I want to close with this, and I want to ask Joe something. I want to get his perspective of this. Joe, what's going to happen to the people, in your opinion? What's going to happen to the people who do not wake up here very, very quickly? I think it's already too late for millions of people to wake up. They could wake up today, it's already too late. They've lost the jobs, they have no savings, they have massive amounts of debt. Those people are in big trouble already. But what do you say to the person who still has a job, has an income, has the ability to start to prepare today? What do you say if they do not start preparing quickly? What's going to happen to the people that don't? And to the millions who already it's too late for, what's going to happen?
Well, for those that are still employed, there's not much time left, so do what you can to secure your financial stability. And for those that it's already too late for, well, try to find yourself a community so you guys can empower each other and lift each other up, both in spirits and financially.
So I guess we'll leave it there today. To the people out there who are not preparing, I feel sorry for you right now, because what you're going to experience, and if you have kids and you have families, I feel so bad to what is going to happen to them, because I go out on a regular basis and I see the homeless crisis, and I see how many people have gotten addicted to drugs, and many of those people got addicted to drugs because of their lives, that they came to a dead end. They're miserable, and people start doing drugs to cover up the pain, to escape the pain, to numb themselves. And we're going to see that happen to so many people when they are evicted, when they do lose their homes in these moratoriums. We're going to see a huge increase in suicide, drug addiction, crime, and everything else that you can think of. And it's really going to be, I think, an ugly, ugly period in our history here in America. But if you're preparing, and if you're awake, and you have assets, I truly believe you're going to escape a lot of this pain. But it's going to be pain. Don't get me wrong. We're all going to feel the pain. This is not going to be avoided. I don't care if you live in the worst neighborhood in America or the best neighborhood in America. Nobody is going to avoid what is going to happen in this country, and it's going to affect us all one way or another. And again, whether you're rich or poor, we're all going to be affected by this. So really, really ask yourself, are things as good as they're telling you? Are you prepared for an economic collapse? What's the worst case scenario that you start preparing today with some assets, some food, some water, and some security? What's the worst possible thing that that's going to do to you? It just makes you a stronger person, and it just makes you somebody that really cares about the well-being of your family and the future of your family. So I'm going to leave it there today. Please come over, check us out on Patreon. I'm going to be uploading a few new videos this week on Patreon, so check that out. We're going to talk about some other things over there, so please come over, check that out. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and share this video. God bless all of you, and I look forward to talking to all of you very, very soon.